Meghan a geriatric mother. The family claims and states that Meghan had a hysterectomy. How can a woman with a hysterectomy be pregnant? And most of all, why did the royal family go along with this? And what's going to happen now that this has come out? This is a punishable crime. This is fraud in the highest levels.
Things just got a whole load worse for Meghan Markle because her sister Samantha ain't going anywhere.
I do believe because there are no delivery certificates.
They once crowned her the modern Cinderella, but this story took a wild turn. Meghan Markle didn't just slip into that glass slipper. She shoved it on, cracked it, and then tried to sell the pieces to Netflix. The fairy tale became a franchise, and somehow she managed to play both the victim and the mastermind behind it all.
In my opinion, she would still be a waitress if it wasn't for Dad.
Honestly, if it weren't for her dad's early help and connections, she'd probably still be serving tables somewhere in Hollywood. From chasing auditions to chasing the crown, Meghan flipped the royal script into a non-stop media storm. Every tear, every private confession, every carefully timed photo op. It was all perfectly executed for maximum shock value.
Did you make Kate cry?
No, the reverse happened.
But behind those flawless filters and royal smiles, Samantha Markle, her sister who actually knows her, claims there's a secret Meghan's been hiding tighter than the crown jewels. A secret so big it could shake the royal hierarchy from top to bottom. Samantha didn't just throw shade, she dropped a bomb. When she said, "People need to look at the timeline," the internet went crazy. What they found didn't just spark rumors, it set the whole conversation on fire.
When you have been lied about for a series of years, how hurtful that is.
Because if Samantha's right, Meghan's carefully crafted image of royal motherhood might not be as real as it seems. It might just be a staged illusion built for cameras and cash. This isn't the glossy fairy tale the palace wants you to believe. This is the unfiltered side of Meghan Markle they never thought would surface. And once you see the cracks in her picture-perfect crown, you'll never see the Duchess the same way again. Every royal story has its villain, but this time Samantha Markle says she's not the bad guy.
People think her kids are fake. They think they're AI.
I'm going to quote Tom Bauer by saying, he said, "Look, we all laughed at Samantha and she was right. And everything she said has come true."
For years, she watched her half-sister climb from cable TV actress to global Duchess, rewriting her past, smiling for cameras, and acting like she was born royalty. Through it all, Samantha stayed silent until that silence started to taste like betrayal. Because behind the speeches about compassion, Meghan didn't just distance herself. She erased her own family. The sister who once defended her, the father who adored her, both left out in the cold while Meghan basked in the spotlight. Samantha finally snapped. She said, "If Meghan can rewrite history, then I'll remind the world what really happened."
And there's a very big difference. It was deliberate.
And with that, she dropped a single icy line that changed everything. People need to look at the timeline. No yelling, no insults, just that one sentence. But it hit harder than any royal scandal before it. Because deep down, everyone already knew what she meant. Meghan's pregnancy story had never quite added up. The dates didn't line up, the photos looked off, and the secrecy around everything just screamed, something's not right. While Meghan's PR team rushed to spin the story, Samantha just smiled, calm and knowing, like someone holding a royal-sized secret the world wasn't ready for. But that was only the beginning. Once she started talking, the cracks in Meghan's perfect image started to explode open.
This scandal comes as no surprise. Speculation about the children has been simmering for years.
When Samantha said, "Look at the timeline," most people laughed until they actually did. And the deeper you dig, the wilder it gets. In October 2018, Kensington Palace proudly announced Meghan was expecting, just 5 months after the royal wedding. Adorable, right? Except something didn't fit. There were no hospital photos, no confirmed doctors, and not a single reliable witness who ever saw her go into labor. Nothing. Then came the so-called bump moments.
Silence everybody and just produce a DNA sample.
Remember that viral clip where her belly seemed to fold as she crouched down? The internet called it an optical illusion, but others whispered about something far more shocking. Fast forward to 2021, baby number 2. Same mystery. No hospital sightings, no quick certificate, just another round of staged appearances and royal silence. Every photo op felt like a movie set. Perfectly choreographed, carefully timed, and hiding something just beneath the surface. Yet the palace didn't say a word. They smiled, waved, and let rumors spread like wildfire. That's when old reports resurfaced. Claims about a past surgery that, if true, could have made natural pregnancies nearly impossible. At first, people brushed it off.
When she said, I lost my father, we knew that she didn't lose our dad, she iced our father.
But when coincidences start piling up like that, they stop feeling like coincidences. And Samantha knew exactly what she was doing. Her cryptic warning wasn't gossip, it was a breadcrumb trail. Because if those timelines check out and that surgery really happened, then the royal fairy tale could be hiding one of the biggest cover-ups in modern monarchy.
If you had those things, it would be very easy just to put them out there and say, this is what happened. This is what it is.
But the next twist didn't come from the palace. It came from a woman named DL. No royal title, no public platform, just 2 letters and a story that made the internet go silent. She said she stayed quiet for years, locked behind strict NDAS and offshore contracts. But now, she was done being invisible. DL claimed she wasn't a bystander. She was the woman who actually carried the royal children. Her words shook social media to its core. She painted a world straight out of a secret drama. Marble clinics in Beverly Hills, hidden entrances, and meetings under fake names. She said Meghan and Harry came separately, always disguised, never using their real identities. Every move was planned to match public events, almost like they were building a storyline instead of a family. According to DL, once each procedure was done, she was told to vanish. No photos, no trace. Payments hidden through layers of shell companies. They treated me like a vessel, she said, her voice breaking with frustration. Like I didn't even exist. Her story wasn't some wild tabloid claim. It was a direct hit to the royal narrative itself. And then came the proof. DL didn't bring gossip. She brought receipts. Not tweets or screenshots, but hard evidence that made journalists freeze mid-sentence.
A doctor has come forward and has absolutely revealed, and you're going to listen to her. She has absolutely revealed and confirmed that Rachel Meghan Markle was never pregnant, never gave birth to any children.
She presented clinic intake forms dated 2018 and 2020, ultrasound images labeled under code names, and digital payment logs tracing money through 3 separate offshore accounts. Each piece fit together too perfectly to ignore. It was the moment the fairy tale started to crumble, and the so-called ghost mother stepped out of the shadows, ready to tell the story the palace never wanted the world to hear. According to DL, every single document she had matched Meghan's pregnancy timeline perfectly. Even the timestamps from the clinic appointments lined up exactly with the palace's photo ops, like puzzle pieces that were never supposed to connect. Then came the screenshots, encrypted emails, and mysterious initials that hinted at royal aliases. Hidden inside were non-disclosure clauses, so strict they threatened total ruin if she ever spoke. DL claimed that halfway through the second pregnancy, the money suddenly stopped, and that silence was meant to be her final payment.
I don't like to say it, but I gotta say it. I don't know of anybody that cold to do this.
But this time, she refused to disappear. When her evidence hit the internet, it spread faster than Buckingham Palace could blink. Forums exploded, hashtags caught fire, and journalists scrambled to verify anything they could, though frustratingly, not much could be confirmed. Still, the coincidences were too precise to ignore. And then DL dropped a line that froze the internet solid. If I'm lying, I'll take a DNA test on live TV. That single sentence didn't just break the silence, it shattered it. Overnight, whispers turned into a full-blown revolt. The second those 16 words went public, social media went into meltdown. I'll take a DNA test on live TV became the most explosive quote of the year. News outlets scrambled for coverage, hashtags trended worldwide, and comment sections became digital war zones. One side hailed DL as a brave whistleblower exposing a royal illusion, while the other called her a fraud chasing fame. But for every critic shouting fake, there was someone whispering, what if she's telling the truth?
I'll tell you why. What she told the royal family, what she told Harry, wouldn't have jived, wouldn't have been consistent with the truth.
That question changed everything. Suddenly, gossip turned into investigations, and every talk show wanted her on camera. Tabloids threw 6-figure offers her way, while YouTube channels dissected every frame of her interview like it was national evidence. And through all of this chaos, Meghan and Harry said nothing. No denials, no clarifications, not even a carefully worded PR statement. The silence was deafening, and to many, it spoke louder than words ever could. Then, out of nowhere, Samantha Markle reappeared. Without confirming or denying DL's claims, she posted a single quote from her father. The truth doesn't fear questions. It was calm, simple, and yet it poured gasoline on a royal firestorm already raging out of control. Behind palace walls, panic set in. Emergency meetings were held. Publicists went into overdrive. Insiders whispered that serious conversations about legitimacy had begun behind closed doors. What started as a half-sister's cryptic warning had now mutated into a full-blown constitutional nightmare. Because if DL's DNA challenge turned out real, if the results didn't match, this wouldn't just rewrite a family story, it would shake the very foundation of the monarchy itself.
Here, the doctor talks about both the children, and listen to what she says.
So you tell me to tell you something that maybe a dozen people actually know that's going to come out very soon. Okay. Meghan Markle, the reason why you watch her interviews and she just seems off, she's owned by a pharmaceutical company. The 2 children that she had, they're not hers. She didn't have them with Harry. And how her and Harry met is that she's a prostitute.
And just when everyone thought the situation couldn't get darker, the next revelation proved they hadn't seen anything yet. The whispers were turning into legal speculation, and this time, the story was crossing a line so sensitive that even tabloids started backing away. Something deeper and far more dangerous was unfolding right in front of the world's eyes. No one wanted to touch this story anymore, because it wasn't gossip now, it was about the throne. British succession law has an old rule tucked deep within its pages. Every royal heir must be born of the body. It sounds ancient, but it's the foundation of royal legitimacy itself. And if DL's story ever turned out to be true, it could mean the Sussex children technically fall outside that sacred rule. Suddenly, one rumor wasn't just scandalous, it was constitutional dynamite. Behind palace gates, things reportedly turned chaotic. Insiders whispered about frantic phone calls between lawyers and royal aides, secret briefings designed to keep journalists from asking dangerous questions, and heated debates over whether modern surrogacy laws could override centuries-old royal tradition. Politicians ducked microphones like they were landmines, and reporters admitted they'd never seen Buckingham Palace this nervous. Meanwhile, the public was completely split. Some defended Meghan, saying it was time for the monarchy to evolve, that born of the body was an outdated relic of a bygone era.
When you're pregnant, there's not a pillow under your skirt, and there's live footage of her walking towards camera with her abdomen swaying left to right in a black and white checkered dress.
But others demanded answers from a family whose entire identity depends on bloodlines. And once conspiracy channels caught wind, things went wild. Theories multiplied overnight. Every possible scenario, no matter how far-fetched, found an audience. For the first time, the debate wasn't about Meghan versus Samantha. It was about whether the monarchy itself could survive another crisis of legitimacy. And according to multiple palace insiders, the fear wasn't paranoia. It was strategy. Because history inside the House of Windsor has always followed one rule: protect the institution, even if someone else gets thrown under the royal carriage. So the palace did what it does best. It said nothing. Not a whisper, not a denial, not even a headline correction. Just that cold, calculated Windsor silence that's buried 1,000 scandals before. But this time, silence didn't calm the storm. It fed it. Every hour without a statement made the speculation louder. TV panels turned the issue into royal warfare.
But if you look at this, Meghan Markle has been incredibly quiet about the birth, but mostly the pregnancy of these children. Everything has been shady. The one who's been blabbing and saying crazy things is Prince Harry.
Online sleuths started dissecting old photos, birth announcements, and even press schedules, searching for clues. The Sussex fans cried, "Witch hunt," while the skeptics yelled, "Cover up." It was chaos on every timeline. And in the center of it all stood Samantha Markle, calm as ever, looking like she'd already accepted her role as the royal exile. Her interviews carried an unsettling calm. No screaming, no name-calling, just sharp, deliberate words about truth, dignity, and accountability. Every sentence sounded like a warning wrapped in grace. Each talk show appearance chipped another piece off Meghan's polished public image. And when Samantha hinted she had more receipts waiting, just in case the palace tried to silence her again, even her critics had to admit she didn't sound like a woman bluffing. This was no longer just a family feud. It was the kind of scandal that made history books tremble. And the quiet confidence in Samantha's voice suggested she knew exactly how much royal panic her words had already caused. Inside the palace, panic turned to policy. Advisors whispered that the monarchy had to take Harry and Meghan seriously. Not because of sympathy, but because their chaos was now threatening the future of the crown itself. Every move, every silence, every headline had started to shake the royal machine from the inside out. Meanwhile, the media went absolutely feral.
Why have they simply not made an announcement to the fact that all of this speculation about the children's arrivals?
Paparazzi lurked near hospitals, reporters chased medical records, and lawyers clashed on live TV over privacy rights. Even royal historians admitted they'd never seen the public this divided. Every unanswered question became another headline. Every rumor, another potential revelation. The frenzy was unstoppable. Through all of it, Meghan and Harry stayed silent. And that silence spoke volumes. To critics, it looked like guilt. To fans, it was defiance. To everyone else, it felt like confusion wrapped in PR polish. Their carefully controlled image was cracking under the pressure. And then, just when the chaos hit its loudest peak, Samantha Markle delivered her final blow. No fanfare, no fancy production, just Samantha in a dim studio, one mic, one truth left to tell. The interviewer looked her in the eye and asked, "Do you regret saying all this?"
I think the palace and the machinery of the monarchy needs to take Harry and Meghan more seriously and make sure that Harry and Meghan's antics don't impact the future of the crown.
She paused for a moment, her face unreadable, and dropped 10 words that froze the entire room. Regret? Only if the truth stops being the truth. That line hit harder than any headline ever could. There was no anger in her tone, just exhaustion. You could see the years of distance, rejection, and disbelief written all over her face. This wasn't a woman chasing fame anymore, it was someone who'd accepted the cost of speaking out. She wasn't asking to be believed, she was daring the world to prove her wrong. Samantha spoke about family dinners that never happened, calls that never came, and a sister who turned her real life into a fairy tale built on selective memory. Her tone wasn't bitter, it was surgical, cold, precise. She said she didn't want fame, money, or pity. All she wanted was for the lies to stop echoing louder than the truth. When the interview ended, she left the world with one more haunting line. History will remember who told the truth first. That clip exploded online within hours. Supporters called her brave, critics called her cruel, but everyone watched. Whether you loved Meghan or couldn't stand her, one thing became crystal clear. Samantha's words had cracked the royal illusion wide open. For the first time, the fairy tale didn't end with happily ever after. It ended with a question no one could answer.
In this case, about whether you think the birth was real, whether you think there was a surrogate, whether you think Meghan was wearing a moon bump, the fact is, Harry and Meghan lied. Buckingham Palace lied on their behalf. There was a complete cover-up over the birth of Prince Archie.
After all the whispers, interviews, and evidence that sent the internet into flames, what's left? A family torn apart, a monarchy dodging questions, and a sister who refuses to be silenced. Maybe Samantha's words are fact, maybe they're fury, but one thing's undeniable. They've exposed fractures in the royal image that no PR team can ever fully repair. Because when truth turns into a battlefield, reputation is the first casualty. But before you decide who to believe, you need to see what actually started this royal storm. Our previous deep dive exposed how Meghan's entire pregnancy narrative began to crumble when Candace Owens dropped shocking evidence that sent royal insiders into full-blown panic mode. That's the missing puzzle piece that connects every secret, every suspicious timeline, and every whispered clue you've just heard. It all ties together: the secrecy, the documents, the hidden meetings, and the quiet cover-ups. Once you see how it began, you'll understand why the palace is doing everything it can to keep the truth buried. And trust me, if you thought today's revelations were wild, you haven't seen anything yet. The next chapter dives even deeper into the files, the cover stories, and the names that everyone's too afraid to mention on record. So don't stop here. The story's only getting hotter. Hit subscribe to T-Torch, turn on those notifications, and join the viewers who are uncovering what really goes on behind royal curtains. Because the truth doesn't fade away, it evolves. And the next expose waiting for you might just be the one that blows this entire royal mystery wide open.